Do you put a ton of hours of work in training day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and feel like you're not getting the results you want? And if so, then you should watch this video because I'm going to break down 3 simple steps that you can start training smarter, maximizing your time, and getting better results. The first and most important step is to number 1, identify your rate limiters. Now, what is a rate limiter? To put it simply, it is really just what you struggle with, what you're deficient at that is causing you to either not get playtime in a game, or if you are getting playtime, to not reach your potential. Now, I'll give you an example. So for me and my game, right, I'm a 5'10", average athleticism, and I'll use my men's league for context, all right? So with that, one of my rate limiters is going to be my size. I am undersized, right, as a guard in our league. I'm 5'10", I'm like 175 pounds on a good day, and so I'm on the smaller side in my league. So I need to make sure that one of my rate limiters is being strong, all right, and getting to the basket and being able to take and absorb contact. Now, that I know that that's one of my rate limiters, I'm going to design a strength program. I'm going to go seek out. I actually use the PJF performance program, and I'm actually not sponsored by them, but they've helped my athleticism quite a bit. And that's helped me become a lot better player in my men's league, because now, even though I'm probably average height, but even though I'm a little underweight, if you look, my shoulders aren't very broad, right? If you'll watch like professional athletes, they're very built. I'm not built like a professional athlete. There's a reason I'm a coach at 26 and not a player at 26. It's because I don't have the physical frame. So I had to work around that. So that's a rate limiter that's like athleticism related. And I see that a lot with athletes, right? I see a lot of times like some of my athletes that have been cut or they don't get much play time, their feet are either too slow, so you need quicker feet if that's you, or they're just not strong enough and they're getting bullied and they can't get stops. A lot of times on defense, that's a weight room thing. There are definitely some techniques on defense that can help, but if you're not fast enough or strong enough, then that's going to be a significant rate limiter that you need to address. Now let's go talk about a basketball rate limiter. And so for me, right, my role on my men's league team is, I would say, one of my biggest rate limiters and my challenges when I was a player and still to this day is I have a tendency to turn the ball over a little bit too much. Number 1, because I just play too fast sometimes and I need to slow down. So how do I train that? And that's what I'm going to break down in our second point. Now, how do we address those rate limiters? And number 1, you're going to have to identify what the most important one is. You can list out, I would say, 1 to 3. So I pause this video, write down 1 to 3 rate limiters that are athletic related. Maybe, unless you're like 6'5", you're super strong, super fast, you probably don't have that, then just write down your basketball rate limiters. Okay, so I'll pause, 1 to 3. Boom, we're back, right? I'm hoping that you spent some time writing those down because you don't want to just watch videos. You actually want to take action. So with that, we want to then, of course, create a plan. And so how do we create a plan? Let's go back to me in turning the ball over, right? And I can kind of give you some examples for shooting because that's going to be a common one, and or finishing. I'll give you a couple examples for that as well. So for me and turning the ball over, right? I can work on my handles. The most important way for me to get better at improving my ability to take care of the basketball is to put in small-sided games. So where am I turning the ball over? Am I throwing bad passes, or is it, my handles and when people pressure me? Let's say, I think sometimes it's a little bit of both. So let's say I want to get better at handling pressure. Now, you can have stronger handles that you can work on by yourself, and there's a million drills, right? You can go to YouTube and look. If you want to actually get better at handling ball pressure and not turning the ball over, you need to train with someone. So you need to find a partner and just have them play as hard defense as you can. So you'll start on the baseline, you'll go all the way to half court, and they will dog you on defense. And then if you want to make it even more challenging, you constrain, right? You can play from the free throw line to half court, right? Just really constrain that space. And you have to get from baseline to half court, right, without turning the ball over. you know what's going to happen is you're going to turn the ball over. You're going to lose it. But over time, your body, if you expose yourself to high ball pressure in your training, you're going to be able to handle that ball pressure quite a bit more. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about shooting and finishing as well. So if you want to become a better in-game shooter, you need to be able to shoot with defenders. And I believe that shooting is twofold, right? You have to have good form, which is important. You can practice that just by yourself. But I want to talk about the more important part. A lot of times, I'm sure you may be someone who spends hours in the gym shooting, but you're not quite seeing the results you want. Well, you need to shoot more with defenders, and there's a ton of small-sided games. You can go to TJL Training, By Any Means Basketball. They post a lot of great videos on how to, on different drills that you can do that are shooting. So I'll just toss it up, right? And just make sure you have a contest, and you can get blocked. And so that's the one thing that you need to be training more with live defenders through a constraint-led approach. If you want to really get better, it's the same thing with finishing. You need to practice finishing with someone on your back, with someone on your side, with people in help side. That's how you're going to be a better finisher, is if you train your rate limiter, whether that's finishing, shooting, turning the ball over, with live defense. And now the last and most important point. Watch film of yourself and of people who are doing whatever your rate limiter is at a high level. All right, let's go back to my example of turning the basketball over. Now, I can, number one, record myself during my men's league games. I'm not super focused on that, but that's just an example. You can go play pickup. You can record your games, wherever you are. You're at a recreation game, or it's your high school season. You can have someone record it, whether it's a friend, a parent. Have someone record it and then go back and watch. If you become a student and you watch yourself on film, that is going to be the best way you learn. Oh, I should have attacked that outside hip that way. Oh, I should have created separation here. Well, I was just rushing. I need to slow down. So you just use that film as data. And then also you just study people who are a lot better than you at the skill you want to get better at. So let's say for me, right, I want to go watch Chris Paul. I want to go watch SGA. I want to go watch people or basketball players who have excelled at what I want to improve at, right? So that's what you need to do. You need to watch film of yourself and of people who are doing things better than you. And that's a super simple way where I guarantee you, if you did that to a T, where you identified your rate limiter, you created a plan, and you found a partner to work on your rate limiter in different ways, and if you watch film on yourself and people who are excellent at your rate limiter, you will become a better basketball player. It's not about doing what everyone else does. If you identify what is holding you back and you address it daily, right, in your training regimen, you are going to become a better basketball player. And that's what we're here for at BTG Basketball. We're here to help you become better basketball players. We are going to post a video once a week to help you train smarter. And so that's what it is. We only get X amount of time per day to maximize. You are responsible for that time maximization. All right. So let's go get you some results, transform your game.